have discussed the life cycle approach. I was saying that we can divide the life cycle of a child into 5 different phases, right? So the first one is prenatal, infant, early childhood, childhood or middle childhood, and then adolescence, right? So when we understand the risk in depth with reference to their age specific, gender specific, and the ability specific, then we can address the risk of the children. For example, the risk may vary. As we have seen the example in vulnerability, suppose there is an earthquake, if there is a small baby, the risk of a baby is different, and the differently abled person is different, and the risk of a girl or woman is different, right? So the risk is varied with reference to the age, gender, ability, and their nature. So you understand age means different age, like a baby or a 16 years old girl child, or male baby and female baby, normal human being and the differently able child. So the risk is varied. And especially among the children, they need care and protection from the adult. And their dependency is high. Right? The dependency of children is high. And many times what happens at the time of disasters, the services being provided by the government is being disrupted. It may be an Anganwadi center, such as a Anganwadi center, or the service of school, health, any hospital services. Many times it is being disrupted. When there is a disaster, so even many times the relation services also being disrupted. So even at the time of disasters and emergencies, we need to ensure that the service is not being disrupted, and we need to ensure that the continuity of service. Like we have seen yesterday, why we have to provide take-home medicine, right? So if the service is disrupted, what happens to the children? So similarly, when particular services are being disrupted, it affects the children and women. So we need to ensure the continuity of services. So I said that the first phase is prenatal. There are some mistakes, it's not the first 1,000 days. So the 9 months of pregnancy is called prenatal. The 9 months of pregnancy is called prenatal, and this is the phase, the highly vulnerable, and the children, mother, both are highly vulnerable. If a pregnant woman is vulnerable, which means the children is also vulnerable. So there are 2 lives here. And the disaster can exacerbate the vulnerability, because when there is a disaster, there is a chance for disruption of services. They may not able to reach hospital, they may not able to get the essential services required for the delivery. So it makes complicated. The most important service required in this phase, can anyone tell me? So we understand prenatal is the most vulnerable phase of your child. What is the most important service required at the time of prenatal stage? Is my question clear to everyone? What is the most important service required for the prenatal stage? Medical checkup, nutrition, emotional support, then anything else? Of course, it's all important, but out of this, it's all important. Most important. Huh? Safety. Okay, safety of okay. Prenatal is that 9 months of pregnancy period till delivery. Okay. So what is the most important service required for? Yeah. So access to obesity care for the childbirth. care, medical checkup, prenatal checkup, everything is required. But the access to obstetric care, access to the safe delivery or access to the institutional delivery is a most important service required for the pregnant women. I think you have a direct role in that, but you may have a checkup and everything, you have a monitoring, right? You have a role in that. So when they get conceived until delivery or after even postnatal care also used to do it. Monitoring their growth and the safety. So even you may not have a direct role in that, ensuring the access to obstetric care. Of course, the health department has to play a role. But what we need to understand is, so the access to obstetric care, institutional delivery or safe delivery is the most important service required for the pregnant women. I was asking a question in the field visit. I don't know how many of you remember that. Okay. You are vulnerable to landslide and flood. Just imagine that there is a village completely surrounded by flood. The pregnant woman is the who is supposed to deliver a child on the particular day. But because of flood, the roads were blocked. It's like a complete island. In this situation, how will you ensure the access to obstetric care? Is my question is clear to everyone? How will you ensure? Okay, you will use transport, boat, you will use boat to reach the hospital. Okay, fine. Any other? Yeah, lifting, okay. What else? You're staying here, no? What else? What else?
Find a doctor within the island.
Okay, find a doctor within the island, but all the villages are not having a doctor. How will you ensure the access to obstetric care for the childbirth? My question is clear, na? Think. Some people will boat or airlift. What else? As Yasi also said, doctor is there. But in most of the villages, all the villages are not having the doctor. So how will you ensure the access to obstetric care for the child in the disaster situation? Whatever comes to your mind, you just tell me, don't worry whether it's right or wrong.
Try home delivery.
Huh? Try home delivery. Is it legally right?
No.
Tele-service. Okay. I'm not sure whether tele-service is still authenticated in India for delivery or not. Like Vijay movie don't try that. What is the solution? You are the officers of even child welfare. Your answer to this.
Because the rescue team.
How will you ensure that?
Because the rescue team, we specifically tell them that there is a pregnancy.
Okay, you can call NDRF team. I said that NDRF is having specialized people in all the aspects to manage all the disasters. Even they have doctors, nurses, everything. They can reach anywhere at any time. They will ensure the solution. Is there any other option? Right. Is there any other option? How we can ensure? Does your Anganwadi maintain the list of pregnant women?
Yes.
How you can use this? How you will use that list? You also maintain the list of pregnant women with expected date of delivery?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what you need to do, definitely now the government is giving early warning for all type of disasters except the earthquake. When recently there was an article, 80% we can predict the earthquake also. And some researchers find that. But as of now there is no early warning for the, except earthquake we are having early warning for everything. So when you're having an early warning, you need to sift. We have seen yesterday in the session how Orissa has done. we need to shift the pregnant women in advance to the hospitals before disaster occurs, because we don't know after disaster what will happen. The roads may be blocked, there may be no electricity facility, no transport facility. So the best practice is we need to shift them in advance to the hospital so that we can ensure the holistic care even at the time of disaster and emergency. It is not only just their needs, it is also a rights to get healthcare services from the government. It is their rights. Okay? And in case if you have a ASA worker, health worker, that may be possible in all the villages. Are they eligible to do a delivery?
No.
Okay. So the best practice which we need to implement is we need to shift them in advance to the hospital. So that we need to implement. At least the Anganwadi workers should reach the house of the pregnant woman and they have to make necessary arrangements. That is, they have to inform. You don't need to carry them to the hospital, but at least you need to educate them. Okay? And ensuring MASP kits. What is MASP kits? What is MASP? Minimum initial support package for a delivery of a child. Minimum initial support package for a delivery. So that we need to ensure. And these vast facilities are also water and sanitation is also important. And various social protection schemes such as PDS and other are also recovery of disaster impact on the families. In case when the first thing, minimum initial support package (MIS) means it includes soap, scissors, certain important aspects which is needed for the delivery of the child. And many times when when the services are disrupted, it affects the children and the women. For example, if you are closing the rations for a longer period of time at the time of disasters, what happens? The families maybe need to depend on the relief center. They will not go back because many families still depending on the ration shop for their own rice and other things. So we need to ensure that the ration shops were being opened at the earliest at the time of disasters. Next. So the second phase. The second phase is impact. Next. So during this 0 to 2 years old, the young children, they may need 2 to 3 hours feeding. Every 2 hours or 3 hours, they may need a mother feeding. And up to 6 months, it's compulsory. Up to what age they have to ensure mother feeding? Is there any standard? Up to 2 years. Right? So 0 to 2 years children, they need mother feeding, and our first 6 months is very compulsory. And after that, you can go for any appropriate complementary feeding. So first 2 years, this mother feeding is important, and after that, you can go for a complementary feeding. And many times, because of the disaster, this lactation failure and psychological shock may also affect mother feeding to the child. Because of the disaster situation, and when they lost their houses, or when they lost their assets, they will be in a psychological shock, which may also affect the which may lead to lactation failure. And many times this loss of care and this also affects the children. We have seen that when a child loses their mother, maybe a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, but just 0 to 2 years old child, if they lost mother, this can you imagine will completely affect the life cycle of the child. And the mass displacement after the disaster can also disrupt the immunization schedule. What is mass displacement? Many times what happened in our country, after the disasters, the families were shifting from one place to another place for their job or their livelihood purpose. I'll give an example. So what is the most important service required during this 0 to 2 years old? important service 0 to 2 years old children. Right? Immunization is the most important service required during this particular phase. And the second one is mother feeding. Mother feeding and immunization, these both are important service required. Right? So when the disaster happens, we are making a relief center and we are keeping all the people. So at that time, we need to ensure that the mother and children are not being separated, and the mother with child is having a separate place for feeding. There should be a feeding center even in the relief center. You know, sometimes you may be also given as a role of manager for the relief center. If there is a disaster, you may be assigned with additional responsibility at the time of flood. So we need to ensure that there is a feeding center. If we are keeping everyone in one place, so the mother may not be comfortable to feed their own child. So we need to ensure that there is a feeding center. So that is the reason now even the government is coming up with a feeding center in bus stand, railway station, the airport, even in all the public places also you can see. So we need to ensure that there is a separate place for feeding the child. So the second one, as you all said, the immunization is the most important one. I'm giving one more situation. A group of family from Trivandrum is migrating to Hyderabad after the disaster. In the disaster, they have lost all their assets, houses, everything, no job. A group of families, maybe 500 families with their children, everything, they are migrating to Hyderabad for their livelihood. In this situation, how will you ensure the children are vaccinated? You have a direct role here. So come up with a different solution. How will you ensure? Is my question is clear to everyone? I'm sorry, children, Manasilaina. Yeah? A group of family is migrated from Trivandrum to Hyderabad for their livelihood purpose after the disasters. How will you ensure the children are immunized regularly?
We take the data from our system.
Be specific. Louder, anyone. What is? Huh? Okay. What you will do with immunization card?
Going to
Explain.
primary health center in Hyderabad.
So you will take a flight and you will go to Hyderabad primary health center and vaccine.
No, I'm not migraine in
We
Hyderabad.
have the dates when they are due to get vaccinated. We notify the family and make sure that they
How? Please stand up and tell me anyone, any volunteer. Don't say whether it's right or wrong. Just we are discussing, coming up with a solution. Alright? How will you do that?
Any
They
phone.
were here, they all having children between 0 to 2 years old. They went to Hyderabad now. How will you ensure the children are vaccinated?
Any vaccination portal is there?
Any? Tell me.
Vaccination portal is there in Hyderabad. At that time, online we will know.
Family, your people, Malayalis went there. Okay.
There all the children mothers are entered in the message portal.
Okay.
Through that we can ensure whether the child.
How? Through that how? Specific.
Communicate with the parents.
we can probably connect with the Anganwadis in that area and hand over their documents to them.
Okay, fine. So one solution is they saying that you also have a data with you. So by saying that when the people are migrated through local people or through Anganwadi workers, you may come to know these are the families are not here and they reached a particular place. So you can contact the Anganwadi worker or the supervisor in the destination that they reached, and you can tell them to ensure the vaccination. This is one solution. What else we can do? Okay, last day we adjust பண்ணிக்கலாம். Yes, so one solution Of course, it's right. Many times they may not be responsible also. They may think that they are not my own state people, why should I do? They may think that. Of course, you are right, that is the only way we can do. But think what else we can do.
Communicate the parents, intimate them to.
Okay, you can call the parents also. Since you have all the data with you, you can call them and you can tell, go on, this is the date for vaccination, go and vaccinate your child. That may work because when they realize they may go and approach it. Okay, what else we can do?
Nowadays we have universal immunization programs. The persons in that area where the children were migrated, that is, we give a register, migration register, and they have ask the people whether they are immunized or not. And we also schedule special immunization programs for the migrated people.
Okay, you can organize a special camp in the migrated area. Okay, special vaccination camp we can conduct.
Also, the parents need messages through their registered phone numbers by the RCH portal.
Are they getting message?
Yes, they also.
Which message they are getting?
When child is to be immunized in that, they get for that they are getting.
Is it happening?
Yes, it is happening.
There is a
It's
centralized software.
It's only in your state or all over the country?
All over the country. There is a RCH portal maintained by the JPH and sub-centers.
Fine. But I have been to many states, but nobody told me still that they are receiving the message. But this is one of the best practices which we can do. Please listen here. See, so as she said, ma'am,
Portion track, I asked the name of that particular software.
you can ask so that everyone will know. Now, why you are speaking among yourself? You can ask. Okay, fine. See, if anything you want to ask, you can ask so that everyone will understand. So, what she is saying that we are maintaining the data in the portal, so the message, automatic message will go to the parents, so that, tell me. No.
Okay, that I don't know.
Okay. Any one person ensure me that you can call if you have call your Anganwadi worker and ask, is it happening in the field? Even understood, but in the field you are having the pregnant women, right? You are having the women with the child. They can contact them, or at least 1 hour did they receive the message. All of you call any once. Listen. During the tea break, all of you call your any one of the Anganwadi center worker. Give a responsibility before 2 p.m. They have to call you and inform that at least 1 or 2 persons whether they received the message regarding the immunization or not. Okay, when? Before 1 year. Good. Okay, so means it's happening. 100% is right. Okay, fine. I agree with you. So that portal is for national level, right? Okay, I'll go through RCH portal. I'll check it. Yeah. So this is one way where we can ensure that the message is going to the, now wherever they are moving, they will get the message. One suggestion in this, what we can, maybe you can inform to through your coordinator also, but we are also trying for the policy recommendations. The message also should go with the nearest primary healthcare center. In case they are migrated, they can come to know where is the nearest healthcare center. And in addition to that, there can be a automatic voice call also. Because many parents are illiterate. Many times now we are not even seeing the messages. Isn't it? So the another option is there can be automatic voice call to remind them this is the date for vaccination of your child and access to the nearest PSC. So it's a good, already government is being implementing. So we need to ensure that all the children are vaccinated even after the disasters. And I was saying that during the COVID-19, many children were not even vaccinated. So after after that we need to do a special or rigorous follow-up. When there is a disaster incident, after that we need to give a special focus. Because in the disaster, emergency situation, we forget about everything. Because life is the most important at that time. So we may forget everything. So we need to give a special focus to the parents to ensure that all the children are vaccinated. So the third phase is 3 to 5 years old. It is early childhood. This is the most important part of the life cycle of a child, because being a supervisor, you might be knowing most of the brain development happens during this phase, 3 to 5 years old. And the special care is a critical success factor for the development of a child. So, what is the most important service required during this phase for a child?
Preschool education and
Early education, early childhood education. We say that most of the brain development happens during this phase. Yes, okay. Nutrition food is the most important service required during this particular phase of a child. So many times, because of the disasters and emergency, there is a chance for disruption of the service of the Anganwadi center. They may not be able to get their food. So we have discussed that two services are important. One is nutrition food and the early childhood education. These are the two things are important in this particular phase. So when disaster happens, it may affect these two services. So how will you ensure that?
Videos.
Videos you will send it to their mobiles and let them see. Okay. No, the right. This is
Because
the,
the babies are small, no? That's why they didn't
yes.
attend online
Agree.
classes.
That is the solution. But what I am saying is, for 3 to 5 years old, it's not recommended. Online education is not recommended for 3 to 5 years old child. So what is the solution?
Videos. Not online education.
Video also, online education video also through mobile phone. Na? That also not.
Now in this situation, it's
Yeah. What else? Of course, that is the solution. But what else we can do? What best we can do?
Temporary Anganwadi centers in the relief camps.
Yes. So you need to set up a temporary Anganwadi center, the relief center itself. You have to go there and you have to conduct a session there itself. It's also only for the people, not for the duty bearers. No, but it's happening. During COVID-19 also, many people, the school teachers, even Anganwadi people, they went to the home and they taught. Locally they have mobilized the people and they have done it. And Odisha is doing, Assam is doing this. Because every year 3 times the Assam is facing a flood. And also Odisha, they face frequent cyclones. So whenever they are facing such disasters, the people are in the relief centers and the Anganwadi workers or the citizens, they used to go to the relief camp and they continue their services there itself. So continuity of services is most important even at the time of disaster and emergency. So why we are saying, I will back to discuss in this slide. So these two things we need to ensure. Now you are clear how we can ensure that. Next. So in addition to that, we also need to ensure water and sanitation facilities in the relief center, and recreation, sports, games is also most important during this particular phase, not mobile games. So recreation facilities are also important for this 3 to 5 years old children, and we need to ensure that child-friendly spaces. What is child-friendly spaces? Somebody was saying baby-friendly or child-friendly spaces means, like we are saying baby-friendly toilets. So in the relief center also we need to ensure child-friendly spaces, which means what the child likes. They may need a toys, they may need some stationery, they may need some games, some playing materials, right? So, being a duty bearer of children, we need to ensure that the relief center is child-friendly. Okay? In the relief center, you may not find baby-friendly toilets, they may not find food what they want. What people, smart people used to do, okay, from Kerala, our own relatives, our own friends, they are affected by flood. So let us send a biryanis from Tamil Nadu. Is it suitable for a child? The child may be needing milk. The child may be needing a biscuit or bread. But the food which is being served in the relief center may not be suitable for the child. So we need to see age specific, gender specific. You know, I think Manisanga he was once he was a visitor and he visited Kerala at the time of flood. He was asking all the fishermen who are affected by the flood and what kind of support you want. They were saying we need a boat, we need a fish net, and some people said we need a houses. And he also asked the children. Can anyone guess what did they may ask?
Football.
Huh? And they asked me want a cricket match. It's nature. It is their need. It is their rights. So we have to see age specific. It's not just whatever they just throw onto them. So we need to ensure all the relief centers or even at the time of disaster also wherever the relief should be a child friendly. Next. So the fourth phase is 6 to 12 years old, middle childhood. So the most important service required during this phase is formal schooling. Right? Many times when the disaster strikes, what they do first, they close the school and they use the school as a relief center. Because in many cases we are not having separate relief centers or multi-purpose buildings. So what we do is just we use the school as a relief center so that the school is being closed for a longer period of time. But
Sir, Nasreen and Bhavya. Nasreen and Bhavya. ആ ചേച്ചിമാരോട് താക്കോൽ ഒന്ന് പുറത്തുകൊണ്ട് കൊടുക്കാമോ?
they are calling here.
അവിടെ. അവിടെയാണ് ചേച്ചി. താക്കോൽ അവിടെയാണ്. ആ ചേച്ചി വരുന്നുണ്ട്.
So, the formal schooling is the most important service required for this particular age, 6 to 12 years. So, when the disaster comes, the schools were being closed. What is the solution? Only way, online education. And second, except COVID or pandemic situation, early reopening of school is most important. Of course, you are not having direct role in this, but early reopening of school is most important thing which we need to do it. When the schools were closed for a longer period of time, what happens to the child? Since we also have a role in child protection, right? Not directly to the schooling, but you have a role of protecting the child, ensuring the child rights. When school is being closed for a longer period of time, what happens to the child?
All developments will affect it.
Okay, all development will affect. Okay, single word. Huh? They get psychosocial impact. Okay. What else? What else? They'll become hyperactive. Okay. Think more. When the school is closed for a longer period of time, what happens to the child?
Behavior problems, most of the children.
Okay, behavioral changes.
Lack of socialization.
Lack of socialization. Of course, it all happens, but there are many other important things. This thing, when the school is closed for 15 days or 20 days,
Laziness.
Their routine, yes.
the number of school days affects. It affects in their examination. It affects in the result. Of course, apart from this,
Their routine gets disrupted.
there is a risk of getting abused. Also, correct.
Mobile.
Mobile addiction.
Online addiction.
Mobile addiction. Be clear. Okay. Addicted to mobile phones. Okay. Their routine is affected. Okay. Don't think that there is a chance for dropout.
School dropout.
There is a chance for dropout. There is a chance for become a child labor, child marriage. see, when the schools were being closed for shorter period of time, it will be 15 to 20 days. Sometimes, I'm not sure about, because since it's a developed state, it may not apply here, but in many underdeveloped states or developing states, what happens? They go for a part-time job in holidays. So when they get the taste of money, they will not back to school. They'll prefer to go for a job. So it often they'll be a dropout and they'll become a child labor. And when they go as a child labor, there is a chance for abuse. Isn't it? Does the children also practicing here in vacation or in short time, or are they doing a part-time job?
No, here, yes, there is no.
But it's still in many places it's happening. So the formal schooling is the most important service required during this particular phase, which we need to ensure even at the time of disasters and emergency also. Next. So the last phase is 12 to 18 years old. It's called adolescence. Many times the child protection gets compromised at the time of disaster and emergency, and since they are adolescents, there is a chance of sexual abuse and trafficking. And you know what is the most important service required at this particular phase for a girl child? Okay, protection. Okay, reproductive health, education. Okay. Menstrual hygiene is the most important. You know, see, when there is a disaster or an emergency situation, what happens? The roads might be blocked. There is no shops may not be open. In COVID-19 also, many children, many girl children have experienced that they are not able to access or afford to the sanitary napkins. You may provide anything, food, whatever you want, but if you are not getting what you need exactly, then you won't feel comfortable, right? So these also we need to ensure that in the preparedness kit we need to have a sanitary napkin. So in the relief center itself we should provide that. That's if government provides free of cost to the adults and girls here. We have such schemes here.
Some menstrual cup would not be menstrual cup.
Yeah, something at least it's a cup or a napkin, whatever. So some state, each state having their own schemes. So overall, what I'm trying to say here is the menstrual hygiene is the most important thing at the time of disaster and emergency, which we need to ensure that. And apart from that, of course, they are also a victim and they are also an effective actor where this particular age group, 12 to 18 years old, where you can effectively engage them in the disaster risk reduction activity. Compared to all other groups, they may be depending on the parents, they may need a care and protection, but this particular age group, if you have trained them properly, like a first aid skill, or a rescue and evacuation, or managing the relief centers, or distributing the take-home ration, you can involve this particular age group effectively in the disaster risk reduction activities. Clear? So, as of now, we have seen that age-wise, the life cycle-wise, what is the most important service required, and how can we ensure the continuity of services for the particular age, right? So, if you have any questions or opinions, you can share about this.